G'day sports fans, and welcome to the O2C Doeberl Cup for 2009. We're once again back at the Hellenic Club in Woden in Canberra, the Australian capital. This year's field includes 9 Grandmasters, a 17-strong delegation from India and a record 240 players. The first round, however, was not an easy job for the top players. Dimitri Reindemann, the top seed from the Netherlands, won despite being kept awake all night by his roommate snoring, and so did the second seed Gawain Jones. But on board 3 we already had an upset with Neoloptal Dus drawing with Australian and Canberra junior Gareth Oliver. There were lots of other upsets for the Grandmasters. Australian Grandmaster Darrell Johansson was upset at being given the bird by the organisers, and Andrew Bird duly drew with him and should have won. We also had a loss by Iranian Grandmaster Ghane. He lost to Canberra junior Andrew Brown, and another of the Indian Grandmasters, Chakravarti, also conceded a draw, this time to Melbourne veteran David Hatchie. The biggest incident of the day happened in the game between Yi Yuan, one of Australia's best juniors, and the woman Grandmaster from India, Nadi Kritika. Now, Kritika had been trying to win for a long time. When the diagram position was reached, she finally had allowed a triple repetition, and in the position on the demonstration board, Yi Yuan now indicated that he was going to play bishop to b5 and claim a draw. So he claimed the draw, and the arbiter pointed out that he hadn't written the move down on his score sheet. He had not played it, which would have been a mistake, but he hadn't written it down, and the draw claim had to be disallowed. Kritika was consulted. She didn't want to concede a draw, so the game continued. After bishop b5, she played knight d6, the bishop came back to d3, and now Kritika played the amazing knight f5. Both players were down to about a minute on the clock here, and most of Yi Yuan's time went calculating the pawn ending, but he realised suddenly that he was winning. He took on f5, the pawn took back, and he played g3. And all of a sudden black has run out of moves. Kritika now thought until she had only seconds left before finding the only defence, an excellent one. She retreated her king to e7. Obviously Yi Yuan took the pawn, and then she played b5. So her king is coming back just in time to stop the pawns. So Yi Yuan played pawn takes pawn, Kritika pushed her pawn, Yi pushed his pawn, and then black played king to d7. Suddenly it looks like black might be stopping both pawns, whereas white's king can no longer get back and stop the black pawn. But Yi Yuan had worked things out well. He played b7, the king came across further, and then d6 check, excellent move. King takes pawn is forced, and then Yi brings his king in, and suddenly we're into a queen ending. Both sides pushed their pawns until they both had a queen, but it was Yi's check first. He checked on d5, the king moved to a7, a very clever idea. Queen went to c5 with check, king went into the corner, and now probably the easiest for white is just to play queen e5 and then move the king over towards the h-pawn, but instead Yi Yuan played queen takes on on h5. Probably not a problem, except that after queen to a6 check, a very good check, the white king has only a few good squares, and in fact here Yi Yuan, instead of playing king f7, which probably guarantees a slow victory, he played king f5. And Kritika amazingly managed to make a draw here. She checked on b5, and suddenly the white king has only squares where it can defend the queen. The king went to g6, she checked on e8. King went to h6, she checked on h8. And no matter where the king went, the queen was able to check and make sure the white king had to defend. King moved back, queen check again, king moved back, queen check again, king up, and suddenly we're repeating moves, and Kritika got away with the draw. Much to the relief of the arbiter, who, as this game was concluding, suddenly realised that he'd forgotten to give Kritika 3 minutes for a wrong draw claim by Yi Yuan, and that could have materially affected the game. But fortunately, the decision to go into the pawn ending was not a time trouble decision, but even so, it was a big mistake, and the appeals committee were warming up, but because the game ended in a draw anyway, there were no problems. So that was one of many upsets. I mean, year one was certainly the low-rated player. He was struggling for a draw most of the time here. There were just an astonishing number of top players struggling. Part of it may have been they've only flown into Australia recently, but overall there are not that many people left on 1 out of 1. The second round is tonight, and we should be already seeing some big games, but some of the top seeds will be not on the top boards at all, and will be probably playing juniors. It could be another day of upsets. If the top seeds survive today, then probably they're going to do well, but at the moment it's jet lag and juniors that are causing all the problems, and see you tonight.